Well, my dear souls, today's tale will warm your heart. Have you ever heard a story about courage, love, and overcoming the impossible, one that truly touches your heart? Picture a quiet little town where everything seems peaceful until one unexpected event turns a family's life upside down. Emily, a 13-year-old girl, will have to face huge challenges, race against time and even test her own luck to save her little brother, Lucas. But the big question is, will she make it? And what's hidden in her grandmother's past, a secret that just might be the key to everything? Get ready for a journey full of emotions, mysteries, and twists that will keep you hooked until the very end. If you think you've seen it all, this story will surprise you.
The afternoon sun painted the streets of Oakwood, a quiet little town in the heart of Missouri, with a golden hue. The wooden houses, with their inviting porches, seemed to whisper stories of bygone days. It was here, amidst the scent of freshly cut grass and the distant sound of a train, that the Thompson family lived. Sarah, the mother, a seamstress with skillful hands and a gentle heart, cared for the house with diligence. John, the father, a firefighter with a serious demeanor but a kind soul, was the family's safe harbor. At the center of this welcoming home shone the curious eyes of 13-year-old Emily and the contagious energy of Lucas, her 10-year-old brother. Emily, with her honey-colored hair and fertile imagination, was an attentive observer of the world around her. Lucas, with his skateboard and mischievous smile, was the family's adventurer, always ready for a new challenge. The complicity between the siblings was the foundation of their lives, an unbreakable bond that would be tested. Life in Oakwood followed a peaceful rhythm, but the calm was about to be broken. One afternoon, while playing in the backyard, an accident would change everything. Lucas, while attempting a risky trick with his skateboard, fell and hit his head. The silence that followed was deafening, and fear settled in Emily's heart. That was the beginning of a journey of courage, where a little girl would be the only hope to save her brother. Oakwood, with its tree-lined streets and Victorian architecture, was a microcosm of small-town America. The town breathed tradition, where life followed a calm pace and the community supported each other. The central square, with its bandstand and ancient trees, was the heart of the town, a stage for gatherings and celebrations. The Thompson family, rooted there for generations, was an integral part of this social fabric. Sarah, the mother, had grown up in Oakwood, learning the secrets of sewing from her grandmother. Her skillful hands transformed fabrics into works of art, and her generosity was known to all. John, the father, a man of few words but noble actions, had chosen the profession of firefighter because of his desire to protect others. His courage was admired by all, and his love for his family was unconditional. Emily, the youngest, was a child with a keen sensitivity. Her imagination transported her to fantastic worlds, where she was a heroine capable of great deeds. Her connection with Lucas, her older brother, was the center of her universe. He was her protector, her companion in adventures, and her best friend. Lucas, with his inexhaustible energy and adventurous spirit, was the opposite of Emily in many ways. But behind his mischievous boy appearance hid a kind heart and a deep love for his sister. He was Emily's hero, and she his biggest fan. The dynamic between them was a perfect balance, where Emily's sweetness complemented Lucas' energy. The Thompson family's routine was marked by small rituals that gave rhythm to their days. The mornings began with a family breakfast, where they shared plans and dreams. The afternoons were filled with games in the backyard and strolls through the town. The nights ended with bedtime stories and cozy hugs. This was the solid foundation on which their lives were built. That day, however, the routine would be interrupted, and the Thompson family would find themselves facing a challenge that would test their bonds and their faith. Lucas' accident would be the catalyst for a journey of courage and overcoming, where Emily would become the protagonist of her own story. Lucas' fall revealed a secret. He had a congenital heart condition, unknown to the family. The ambulance arrived, sirens tearing through the silence of Oakwood, rushing Lucas to the hospital. The diagnosis was serious, and the fragility of his heart was a ticking time bomb. Emily, with a heavy heart, watched her parents' anguish, feeling that life, once so safe, was now a tightrope. An old letter, hidden among her grandmother's belongings, revealed an experimental treatment, a last hope that could save Lucas, but at a high cost and with immense risks. This discovery sparked Emily's curiosity, who began to investigate her grandmother's past, hoping to find more clues about the treatment. Sarah and John's goal became clear: to find a way to make the experimental treatment for Lucas viable. The first obstacle was the exorbitant cost, an amount that the family could not afford. Sarah, with her determination, began to sew tirelessly, accepting orders from all over the city, while John worked overtime at the fire department, sacrificing his rest and his time with the family. Emily, in turn, had her own goal: to help her brother recover. She began to research Lucas' condition, seeking information in books and on the internet, hoping to find some solution. She also began to visit Lucas in the hospital every day, telling stories and singing songs, trying to cheer him up and give him strength to fight. The family dynamic intensified in the face of adversity. Sarah and John grew even closer, finding strength and comfort in each other. Emily, in turn, became more independent and determined, willing to do whatever it took to save her brother. The relationship between the siblings also strengthened, with Emily becoming the main source of hope and joy for Lucas. The first obstacles, the cost of treatment and the lack of information about her grandmother's past, were just the beginning of a journey full of challenges and uncertainties. The Thompson family, however, was determined to fight, united by love and hope. Emily's journey to save her brother had only just begun. The news came like a bolt from the blue. The hospital where Lucas was hospitalized had been sold to a large corporation, and the experimental treatment, Lucas' only hope, would be discontinued. The decision, abrupt and cruel, threw the Thompson family into a whirlwind of despair. Time, which was already scarce, was now becoming an implacable enemy. Urgency settled in the heart of each family member. Sarah and John, desperate, tried to argue with the new hospital administrators, but their words had no effect. The ruthless bureaucracy and corporate greed seemed insurmountable, turning the dream of a cure into an agonizing nightmare. Emily, seeing her parents' suffering and her brother's fragility, felt a surge of courage and determination. She realized that she could no longer stand still, waiting for someone to resolve the situation. She needed to act, find a solution on her own, even if it meant defying the rules and facing the unknown. The threat of losing Lucas' treatment ignited a flame of hope and rebellion in Emily's heart. She knew that time was running out and that her brother's life depended on her actions. That was the moment to put into practice everything she had learned, to use her intelligence and her imagination to save Lucas. From that moment on, the story would gain a new rhythm. Emily was no longer just an observant girl, but a potential heroine, willing to fight against any obstacle to save her brother. Lucas' fate was in her hands, and she would not disappoint. The hospital's decision to discontinue Lucas' treatment had immediate consequences. Time became an even more precious resource, and the Thompson family felt the pressure increase. Sarah and John, exhausted and desperate, were looking for alternatives, but the doors seemed to close with each attempt. Hope began to fade, and fear became a constant companion. Emily, determined not to give up, decided to act on her own. She began to investigate her grandmother's past, following clues she found in old letters and yellowed photos. Her search led her to a small library hidden in the confines of the city, where she met Mr. Abernathy, an old librarian with wise eyes and a gentle smile. Mr. Abernathy, intrigued by Emily's determination, revealed that her grandmother had been a pioneering researcher in alternative therapies. and that she had left a diary with notes about the experimental treatment. This discovery rekindled Emily's hope, who felt closer to her goal. A new obstacle arose when Emily discovered that her grandmother's diary was hidden in a locked safe, whose code was unknown. She would need to use her intelligence and creativity to decipher the enigma and have access to the information that could save her brother. While Emily dedicated herself to her search, Sarah and John tried to raise funds to pay for the treatment, if they found a way to continue it. They organized benefit events and asked friends and neighbors for help, showing the unity and solidarity of the Oakwood community. Emily's search for the safe code intensified, turning into a real puzzle. She spent sleepless nights analyzing her grandmother's notes, looking for patterns and clues that could lead her to the solution. The pressure of time and Lucas' fragility motivated her not to give up, even in the face of the most difficult obstacles. Meanwhile, Sarah and John's fight to raise funds faced new setbacks. Competition with other causes and the disbelief of some in alternative therapies made the task even more difficult. Tension between the couple increased, with fatigue and frustration testing the strength of their relationship. Emily discovered that she was not the only one interested in her grandmother's diary notes. An old research colleague of her grandmother, Dr. Harrison, an ambitious and unscrupulous man, was also after the diary, with the intention of using the information for his own purposes. Emily realized that she was not only fighting to save her brother, but also to protect her grandmother's legacy and prevent her discoveries from falling into the wrong hands. Lucas' situation in the hospital also worsened. His heart condition was deteriorating rapidly, and doctors warned that he would not have much time without proper treatment. Hope seemed to be fading, and the Thompson family felt increasingly desperate. Emily's search for the safe code reached a crucial point. After days of investigation, she finally realized that the code was not a sequence of numbers, but a poem written by her grandmother, whose keywords formed the secret combination. The discovery was a moment of ecstasy and hope, propelling her forward. Meanwhile, Sarah and John managed to raise a significant amount of money, but it was still not enough to cover all the costs of the treatment. They felt frustrated and powerless, but Emily's faith and determination inspired them not to give up. The Oakwood community rallied around the Thompson family, showing the power of solidarity. The rivalry between Emily and Dr. Harrison intensified when he tried to steal her grandmother's diary. Emily, with her cunning and courage, managed to thwart his plans, but realized that he would not give up easily. The chase became a race against time, with Emily having to protect the diary and her own safety. A turning point occurred when Lucas, in a moment of lucidity, whispered to Emily a clue about the experimental treatment, information he had heard in a conversation between the doctors. The clue was a fundamental piece of the puzzle, indicating that the treatment was possible, but in a different location. Lucas' health was deteriorating rapidly, and the family knew that there was no more time to lose. Emily, with her grandmother's diary in hand and Lucas' clue in mind, decided to set out in search of the secret location where the treatment could be performed. Emily's departure in search of the secret treatment location marked the beginning of a new stage in the story. She said goodbye to her parents and her brother, promising that she would return with the solution to their problems. The journey would be long and dangerous, but she was determined not to give up. Mr. Abernathy, the librarian, offered his help, revealing an old map that could guide her in her search. While Emily ventured into the unknown, Sarah and John faced a new battle in the hospital. The doctors informed them that Lucas' condition had worsened and that he needed intensive care. Anguish took over the parents, who felt powerless in the face of the situation. They clung to the hope that Emily could find a solution in time. The rivalry between Emily and Dr. Harrison reached a critical point when he intercepted her on the way, trying to steal her grandmother's diary. Emily, with her intelligence and courage, managed to escape again, but realized that he was getting closer and closer to reaching her. The chase became a race against time, with every minute counting. A moment of tension occurred when Emily found herself in a dead end, surrounded by Dr. Harrison's henchmen. However, She was saved by an unexpected ally, an old friend of her grandmother, who had regretted having allied himself with Doctor. This unexpected alliance rekindled Emily's hope, showing that she was not alone in this fight. The townspeople came together to help the Thompson family. They organized a large benefit party, raising a significant amount of money for Lucas' treatment. The solidarity of the community showed that love and hope are able to overcome any obstacle. Emily's journey led her to an old abandoned clinic, hidden in the mountains. The place, with its dark and mysterious atmosphere, conveyed a sense of danger and uncertainty. She knew she was in the right place, but also realized that it would not be easy to find the treatment for her brother. Dr. Harrison's pursuit intensified when he reached her at the clinic. He was determined to take his grandmother's diary and prevent Emily from saving her brother. The fight between them became a final confrontation, with each defending their own interests and ideals. Meanwhile, Sarah and John faced a new crisis in the hospital. Lucas' condition had deteriorated to the point where he needed a heart transplant. The family found themselves facing a new obstacle, with time running out and hope dwindling. A moment of great tension occurred when Emily discovered that the experimental treatment was being kept secret by a group of doctors who believed in its potential. She realized she wasn't alone in this fight and that there were people willing to help her. Hope was reborn in her heart, giving her the strength to move forward. The Thompson family faced their greatest challenge, with time running out and the chances of success seeming minimal. However, they weren't willing to give up. Faith, love, and determination were their weapons, and they were ready to fight to the end. The story was about to reach its climax, with an ending that would surprise everyone. The final confrontation between Emily and Dr. Harrison was epic. She used her intelligence and cunning to overcome the traps he had set, showing that courage and determination can conquer evil and ambition. Dr. Harrison was defeated, and her grandmother's diary was recovered, containing all the information needed for Lucas's treatment. Meanwhile, Sarah and John, in despair, received the news that a heart donor had been found. Hope was reborn in their hearts, giving them the strength to fight to the end. The surgery was a success, and Lucas began to recover, showing the strength of life and love. Emily arrived at the hospital with the experimental treatment, which was administered to Lucas. The combination of the transplant and the revolutionary treatment resulted in a surprising recovery. Lucas was saved, thanks to his sister's courage and determination. The Thompson family was united again, stronger than ever. The community of Oakwood celebrated the Thompson family's victory, showing that unity and solidarity can overcome any obstacle. Emily's story became an example of hope and inspiration for all, showing that love and faith can move mountains. Emily's grandmother's legacy was honored, and her revolutionary treatment was recognized and used to save other lives. The Thompson family had faced their greatest challenge and emerged victorious, showing that love and determination can overcome any adversity. Emily's story was an example of courage and overcoming obstacles, inspiring everyone to fight for their dreams and never give up hope. Years have passed since the crisis that shook the Thompson family. Lucas, completely recovered, became a renowned doctor, dedicating his life to helping others with heart problems. He never forgot the courage and determination of his sister, who became his greatest inspiration. Emily, in turn, followed in her grandmother's footsteps, becoming a researcher in alternative therapies. She used her knowledge and experience to develop new treatments and save countless lives. Her story became an example of hope and overcoming obstacles, inspiring people around the world. Sarah and John, now older, continued to live in Oakwood, surrounded by love and happiness. They were proud of their children and all they had achieved. The Thompson family became a symbol of unity and resilience, showing that love and faith can overcome any obstacle. The community of Oakwood never forgot the story of Emily and Lucas. The town became a place of hope and solidarity, where people supported each other and believed in the power of unity. Emily's story was told from generation to generation, inspiring everyone to fight for their dreams and never give up hope. The legacy of the Thompson family extended beyond the limits of Oakwood, reaching hearts around the world. The story of Emily and Lucas became an example of love, courage, and overcoming obstacles, showing that faith and determination can turn the impossible into reality. The little girl who saved her brother became a symbol of hope for all. Now, I invite you to take with you the lesson of the story. May Emily's courage inspire you to act. May the love of the Thompson family warm your heart. And may hope never abandon your dreams. Remember that even in the most difficult moments, love and faith can guide us.